For OKRs to work well, everyone's got to commit to the calendar. What do we mean by committing to the calendar? We mean that OKRs have an internal rhythm. They come and go in regular cycles. And if you don't find your organization's optimal OKR rhythm, it's harder to make them work. Here are the beats of an OKR cycle. Crafting. This is when creating the next cycle's OKRs begin. Sharing. This is when leadership shares its top-level OKRs, kicking off the cascades and ladders. Locking. This is when the cycle's OKRs are finalized after the cascades and ladders end. Tracking. It's an ongoing process to measure progress against OKRs at regular team meetings and check-ins. Grading and reflecting. This is when you score the cycle's OKRs and share what you've learned. That's a complete OKR cycle. Cascading and laddering every 90 days might sound like a lot of work, but introducing new OKRs at least a couple times a year is a good idea. When used well, OKRs help your teams learn what's working and what's not. Then you can either double down on your approach or change it. That's why you want to write OKRs as you go at the start of each new cycle, not ahead of time. Once you've set a year-long goal, it can be tempting to break it up into quarters, Q1, 2, 3, or 4, but we advise you not to. You're going to learn so much throughout the cycle. Grading, setting, and locking your OKRs shouldn't be a long and heavy process. Even at Google, with over 100,000 employees, the entire process, grading the last cycle's OKRs, cascading and laddering, and locking, takes a total of 3 weeks. Here's a rough guideline for how that works. Grading and reflecting, starting from bottom up, should take about a week. Crafting new top-level OKRs should take a matter of days. And once the OKRs have been shared with the organization, the cascade and ladder will take another week. Then there's 1 more week to lock and work out any alignment issues that may have popped up. If you're a small organization, you may not need the whole 3 weeks to transition from one cycle to the next. But no matter the size of your organization, 3 weeks should be the maximum time to go from one cycle to the next. That's right, 3 weeks to grade and reflect, to craft, to cascade and ladder, and locking your OKRs in. As soon as you've settled on a start date for setting your OKRs, one of the easiest things to do to make OKRs work is to get important dates for each cycle on people's calendars. Yep, the one that's in Microsoft Outlook or Google Calendar. People's calendars determine how most of our days and weeks are organized. They're already a drumbeat for your whole organization. So make appointments for your OKRs too. On that first day, schedule the dates for each beat of your OKR cycle. When will goals be locked? When is the first tracking meeting? How often will you check in on progress? And when does grading begin? Send out calendar invites with reminders so the OKR cycle is almost unavoidable. And include links to the OKRs in the invite to make them just a click away. By putting these important dates on the calendar, you'll help keep the OKR process top of mind.